It's v.h.s.x. What do you mean?
Alright everybody, welcome back to a brand new video. Today we're going to be doing another discussion video that was suggested by one of you guys. So shout out to March in the Discord community for suggesting this video. This one's from Arinad, titled Gang, We Need to Talk About Dead by Daylight. Now, this is a pretty long video, so I will highly recommend watching the full thing on your own. I'm just going to be covering specific, sort of points in the video, kind of talk about my thoughts on it, sort of, because some of the stuff that was written in the timestamps, I literally related a lot to what was being stated, so I wanted to at least get my thoughts on it. And please, give Arinad a watch after this one, you know what I mean? Because bro has a lot to say, and I usually agree with a lot of what he has to say as well, because it's very well thought out. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump in for this timestamp here for the I'm aware how my attitude affects my stream atmosphere, which I mean, I'm gonna let Arinad at least take it away for a moment, and then I'll jump in because I have a lot to say about this.
My stream atmosphere, and I don't like it. Okay, this is me owning and acknowledging all of this for the people that especially aren't aware of it because they only watch my YouTube videos, but the people that do watch my streams, just putting this all out there publicly. I get it. It's like, and I agree with you, and it's like, it's one of those things that I do want to change, but the reality of the situation is, with how it comes to with how DBD makes me feel, I feel happier when I play other games, and it makes me feel sad that when I play DBD, I create this, or I put on this side of me that I don't want people to see.
Yeah, I mean, I can say from personal experience, I've tuned into a stream for that Arinad had, I think a while ago, like months ago. I had tuned in, and because I barely ever saw him live, so I was like, oh cool, let me check it out. And yeah, I can definitely say from personal experience, bro was pretty frustrated, having a hard time. And I think he ended stream pretty quick. And I thought a lot about that. And I also have been in that position. I relate to that. I relate to what Arinad is talking about, right? He says I feel happier when I'm playing other games. And I relate to that 100%. I would love to play other games. I would love to do other content. Unfortunately, as a content creator, you're kind of stuck in place with a lot of things, because when you do want to make an exit strategy, you do want to be able to move on somewhere else. You can't always rely on the fact that your audience will kind of continue to watch other stuff. And he says it right there, but I know that's not what people want to see, and it's true. Nobody really cares about other DBD stuff, other non-DBD related things. So essentially, what, especially from Arinad's case, and in my case especially, having to start a new somewhere else pretty much starts from ground zero, right? We're pretty much starting from square one and having to try to build it back up again. And it's like, how do you do that? You know what I mean? That, very difficult. You know what I mean? Very difficult to want to be able to do that. Especially when you're relatively established. And he says it right there in the slide. That's why I'm trying so hard to still make DBD work, because I know that's what the community really wants from me. And yeah, I mean, I understand where he's coming from. I understand exactly where he's coming from as a creator. Because what the hell are we supposed to do? You know what I mean? This game is very bad. The devs don't care really about the balance of the game in a way that will help both sides. They sort of allow a lot of the toxicity, and they continue to fuel the fires of the toxicity because they're not laying down anything, any law, you could say, laying down the law in that way to try to help keep things where they probably should be. It's just great. So let's go ahead.
I don't want to be this negative, hostile individual towards survivors. Specifically, I want to be very clear about that, right? It's one of the reasons why, and another topic we'll talk about, Grace, going forward, why when I win my matches, my standard message is just the letters GG, well played. You know, because regardless of how I feel about this, that, or the other, if I'm really not in a bad mood, especially, which when I am, I usually won't say anything unless it's like really, but besides the point, right? The whole premise of what I'm getting at is that when it comes to when I win and the person I want to put out, it is respect, right? I'm not looking to take advantage of my situation following matches like when I win, right? To rub the salt in the wound, because being on the receiving end of both frustrating game balances and match outcomes doesn't really feel good to lose. Last thing you want to hear is someone kind of reminding you about that, right? So I've had that opportunity plenty of times, and I don't do that because, again, that's not the person I want to be. Just like everything else, all of the negativity, the giving up in my matches early, right? I do that. You know, going back, we'll be talking about balance, etc. But it's like, I get so frustrated and upset with the state of the game, going forward to the abuse and mistreatment that I get from survivors. It's like, I don't want to play out some of these matches when I know that the outcome isn't going to change, right? Like, if you basically take a match and you look at it in like a,
Yeah, I mean, Arinad pretty much summarizes like my thoughts on the game as well, pretty much. And that's why, like, I understand both perspectives when it comes down to either continuing to play the game and trying to find the fun in it, like we've talked about with Vora, who mentions that. But also, we also talk about the other side of things, where it's like, where Arinad's coming from, where it's like, yo, you're just getting sick and goddamn tired of it. And there's sort of just in like trying to find that middle ground in between the two is where I'm kind of standing at, where I am fully aware of what Arinad's coming from, but I also want to take into what Vora was also stating, which was like, try to find some fun, because like we obviously, none of us have any control over how this game can go, because they are so adamantly focused on only buffing up the lowest skilled players they possibly can, and because you're experienced, because you know what the hell you're doing, you're just getting either like punished for it pretty much, because none of that information makes a damn difference in a game, or, as you can also see, mistreatment and abuse from survivors. Despite the, like, it's crazy, they be having these crazy egos, but the game literally handed you the freebie. Like, your map is in your advantage, your perks are very easy to activate with no prerequisite to activate. You just press shift and then run. You got sprint burst. You press a button, ooh, free endurance. You get off hook, free endurance. You get off hook, another perk gives you free endurance. Or another one gives you free endurance. It's like 3 different variations of endurance. You got tons of time on hook, yada, yada, yada. Like, you have so much that's handed to you for free. So it's like, what, like, where's the ego for exactly? What's the ego for? Like, you have everything that's given to you. It's like, I really don't understand, like, what that's about, right? I don't know. And this is why my main issue is with the DVD community as a whole, because for some reason we're not policing and trying to regulate the toxicity. We just let it flow. We let it grow, and then we use that and we thrive with it. And it's like, why? Like, why is this community like this? Like, I just don't understand it. It's so strange to me. And I'm sure, like, you know, you get the few that are like, oh, well, it's just a game, man. You wouldn't handle it in COD back in 2005. And it's like, all right, bro, like, what does that have to do with this game, though? Like, what does that have to do with this game? Because it's like people yapping in a voice chat versus harassing you outside the game, like looking, like, you know what I mean? Like, they take it outside of there. So like, where do we draw the line here? You know what I mean? Because we can't either, like, you're condoning it on one end, but like, how far does that go? You know what I'm saying? And I've spoken about this extensively, so like, I don't want to repeat myself, but you understand where I'm coming from with this. And that's my point, really. So let's go ahead and jump forward a little bit because there is a part here that I want to talk about.
Going forward, right? As I was just saying, this game genuinely does make me feel miserable. I don't know how much of that has to do with everything I've built up so far outside of the game, but when I log off after a negative stream of Dead by Daylight, so if you've ever watched these streams, right, where I'm hardly playing Dead by Daylight because I had a frustrating match, I got off early, and I started doing like some variety match to try to get my composure, but then I decided it wasn't it, right? Or I don't even get that far. I just play a match, the vibes are, I'm not feeling this, I'm getting off. I don't just get off all willy-nilly thinking, oh, this is whatever, right? I do think about the fact that I've got a community of people who come to see me, that there are people that look up to me, that are people that have looked up to me. They want to see me do things that I'm not doing because they liked what I previously put out. It's not as if the expectation is there because of obligation. The expectation is there because of anticipation. Does that
right there pretty much nails it, I would say. It pretty much nails it. Arinad pretty much is describing exactly even my own experience, I would say, with this type of thing, and that's what I used to experience before. Now that I don't even really play the game pretty much unless I'm on stream at this point, and I'm very open about that because it's like, why should I be playing this game? You know what I mean? Outside of stream, like, what do I get out of it? You know what I mean, in that sense? Because as he's just mentioned, game makes him feel miserable. Same for me. Like, if I were to play the game in my free time, I would just make myself like upset for no reason. Like at that point, I'm like, why would I do that? Like, that just sounds so dumb. Like, that doesn't make any sense. So the difference between me and Arinad, however, is like when he logs off, he feels bad about it. And that's something that I think me and Vora kind of touch on a little bit in our videos as well, as like, you know, we want to try to show that despite the fact that it does get bad and it is terrible and it is miserable, you still have to try to find a way around that, to try to find a way to make it less shit. And to try to make it fun to some degree. You know what I mean? So that's why I will, you know, just do other, like, I will just play a random character, or I'll just try out a funky build just to see what happens at this point. Because I've stopped trying to care about winning in this game. I've stopped trying to be the best in this game. Because it literally means absolutely nothing when they are constantly catering and updating a side and then not updating anything on the other. Or like if they do, it's rare or it does nothing. And it's like, okay, but can we get the same sort of, you know, grace? You know what I mean? And that's my problem with it. It's like, how come one side gets neglected while the other one gets like a feast? You know what I mean? Like, why are we not getting equal benefits here? Like, it doesn't make any sense. That's just been my problem so far with it. You know what I mean? But let's go ahead and let him continue.
And so when I factor all of that in, right, it's almost like a force multiplier on top of just how I felt playing the game, and it does make me feel completely like shit. So I am then taking this feeling, following the stream, and I carry it with me throughout the day. I sometimes carry it with me when I think about streaming again, because I then have this possibility thinking to myself, am I going to now start having multiple streams, right? Where I am putting on this perception of myself that I don't want to be.
And that right there touches a little bit on killer anxiety. You know what I mean? People love to, believe it or not, claim that somehow it doesn't exist. But then explain the situation with Arinad, right? Because what is he playing? Killer, right? He has a bad experience playing killer, which then affects the stream. So then he feels like shit because he felt like, you know, obviously he's not delivering what people want to see, and he's not giving, you know, that sort of, you know, he's not giving the anticipation, right? And having the payoff for that, right? Then he carries that, and then it comes back obviously when he's trying to play killer again on stream. That's killer anxiety. You know what I mean? Even if it's not like completely like, oh, that's the definition, it touches on that. It's at least a variation of it. because as a content creator, we're literally gonna have to find some way around to make the content. And now the difference is obviously with Arinad and myself with our content, like I used to do gameplay content. I used to do that. And I can't imagine trying to do gameplay content nowadays. I mean, obviously because the interest is not really there for me to play the game, but regardless, the fact of the matter is like I can't even imagine coming at it from a gameplay standpoint, because at least when it comes to topics, there's a lot of different things you can touch on. But with gameplay, it's like there's not a lot left. Like, you know what I mean? Everybody's already done every build, and then, you know, a lot of perks are god awful or useless on killer. And then obviously taking into account like going against survivors that are like giga buffed up to this extent. Tons of base kit changes, tons of palettes and crazy like options and stuff like that, and perk combinations, and even going against comms, you know what I mean, as well as that. It's like what's the point? You know what I mean? You're just gonna be grinding and grinding just to try to get like a particular match to show the build at least doing its thing, which you probably can't because the game ends in 5 minutes.
And it's like, I don't know what the hell to do. I don't know what the hell to say besides being honest and forward about it at this point, which is why I'm doing that, because you can only really go so far, I feel like, without at least doing that, right? It's one thing to just, I feel like for me to just have this happen with my stream, going on throughout my stream without at least, and like I said, owning up to what is going on here, okay? So like I was saying, it's like I feel like I have no control over my future as a content creator, because with how the game currently makes me feel playing these lower tier killers like Clown, having to, even if I wanted to play a higher tier killer, I'd have to learn that killer from the ground up, right? It makes me feel like I either have to abandon my identity completely, right? Picking up a whole other killer, or just playing fully into this game's current design balance by maining Survivor. And maybe that's why so many more people that I notice nowadays are playing Survivor more than they play Killer. Just observations, right?
That right there, Arinad hits the nail on the head beautifully right there. Because I've noticed that too. A lot of people are just on Survivor because it's just easier. It's more enjoyable because you don't have to do as much. And of course, I can even relate to what he just mentioned there, which was like pretty much like letting go of that sort of identity as the Clown main. In that sense, I let go of that sort of idea of being a Ghostface main, because it's like he's low tier trash. What is the point of me playing a dog shit killer and having a shit time when I can just play other characters and just try different things? You know what I mean? And it's like, and I also agree with Arinad on that fact. It's like you pretty much have no control necessarily over how the content, you know, where your content's gonna really go in that sense, especially if you're focusing on gameplay content. It's like, what else, what do you do after that? Like, what is the point? What is the point? Now, I wanted to briefly touch on another particular timestamp, because there was one more thing that I wanted to touch on real quick, but I do highly recommend watching the rest of it, because it has a lot of insight, offers a lot of information, really pulls the curtain back, and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and dive right into this one real quick.
That survivors would rather destroy the entire integrity of Dead by Daylight than learn how to play it.
Oh yeah, 100% agree. 100% agree. I wanted to quickly touch on that too. And this doesn't pertain to every single Survivor player, but more so the players that we've covered in our like forum posts and stuff like that. Like those kinds of brain rotted individuals that are just adamant on trying to destroy the game because they're so obsessed with trying to, for whatever reason, give killer players a hard time and to feel like they're this crazy force as a Survivor player. It's like, what are we doing right now? Like, you want to destroy the entire game because you're losing. Like, why are we doing this? But that's what they want. I don't entirely know why. I don't really understand the mentality. Like, you claim to love this game and then you want it to completely crash and burn. I don't get it, but that's what they want to do. It's very confusing to me.
They would rather not learn how to play chase, so we would have 50 more pallets added because they would rather just quit than learn how to play chase. They would rather, when it comes to gen efficiency, they would rather just not do gens, so all gen perks get nerfed, because rather than do what they're supposed to do, the one objective, you know what's so crazy to me? Survivors have one objective, and whenever you point out the fact that they're doing it too efficiently, they all are very, very quick to say, well, what else are we supposed to do? But you know what's also very wild to me? You look at survivors who suddenly, they just aren't capable of getting on generators, right? It's very, very wild to me that we are at this state when it comes to the nerfs to gen perks, because survivors don't want to do gens when the moment they start doing to gens efficiently, they've been doing years ago, by the way. It's not as if generators suddenly just through some changes, because you're not seeing this through perks. You're just seeing this through survivors just sitting on generators, because you look at other things, right? Like the increased hook timers, the base kit unhook, right? The meter to where you don't need 2 survivors.
There it is right there. I mean, Arinad pretty much nails it. I mean, I've said this before as well. Like, it's kind of ridiculous. You know, that's something that we constantly hear recycled every time that we talk about the gen rushing epidemic. They go, oh, what else is there to do? I'm like, maybe get in chase. Like, maybe do something other than ratting. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like, it's kind of ridiculous. You know what I mean? And I really just don't get it, man. I really just don't get it. And I find it a little bit like funny, because they say like, what else is there to do? And then I think, well, then why play that side then? Or why are you playing that then? If the only thing you can do is be on a gen and it's not interesting, then like, why are you playing it? Like, why not just play something else? Like, it's just so weird to me. I don't really understand.
To coordinate for an unhook. All of this has resulted with survivors being able to just hold M1 on generators for longer now. That is where we're at when it comes to the entire integrity of this game being just completely destroyed. Because survivors don't want to learn micro when it comes to chases, etc. with the pallets.
Yep.
Because they don't want to learn macro when it comes to coordinating unhooks, when it comes to body blocks,
yep.
when it comes to bringing certain perks.
Yep.
These are all just killer expectations, right? Killers have different expectations than survivors because they're held to different standards.
Yep.
And we'll be talking about more on that later. But that is basically where
yeah. I mean, bro pretty much nails it, man. He's cooking right now. Yeah, no, I mean, that's my issue with the DVD community as a whole. I mean, there is a lot of the expectations for killers that aren't even applicable to Survivor. Every single time anybody talks about any killers, oh, they have to get better, they have to get better. Oh, skill issue. Oh, you're using strategy? Oh, that's a skill issue. It's like, okay, but telling survivors to learn how to loot better, why do we need so many pallets for? Why do we need so much healing speed? Why do we need so much haste everywhere? Why do we need so much endurance everywhere? Why do we need an extra hook timer? Why do we need a hatch? Like, why do we need all these different aspects? And then all of a sudden, oh, now it's not a problem anymore. Oh, why are you saying that? That's not fair. Survivors can't have anything. It's like, okay, but why is it not equal on both sides though? Like, why is it only one side has a skill problem, the other side can just prance around with every single buff, update, positive change, like under the sun? I don't understand that. It doesn't make any sense. I'm like, what are we doing right now, bro? What are we talking about? It just doesn't make any freaking sense, dude. It doesn't. I don't get it. But I want to hear you guys' thoughts, of course, on the topic at hand today, on what you think, basically, of what's going on in the video today, and what do you think about the state of the game. What do you think about what Arinad is talking about, what I'm talking about? Do you agree or disagree? And I highly recommend watching the video. It's linked in the description, so you can actually, watch the full thing, get more context, and kind of hear more talking points, because there's a lot to be discussed. And it's a very long video that has a lot of great information. So, but yeah, hit the like, hit the sub, man, and consider supporting becoming a member on YouTube or Patreon, or even subbing on Twitch. I'll see you guys in the next one. All right, let's go ahead and read off these wonderful members. We got Patreon, Crow Vader. All my YouTube members: Brando, Evil Blade, Cap Courteous, WTF You're Not JLo, Evil Peach, Hargan Falcon, Dole Whip, Noxus, Zero Mocker, Jack, Christian, and Crow Vader. Really appreciate you guys supporting, man. And if you also subbed on Twitch, just know that you got love coming your way too. Appreciate you guys, man.